So white men are now saying that they are being discriminated against. At least that's what our government is saying. They're being discriminated against in jobs, and that they should somehow get affirmative action. Now, they didn't like affirmative action for Black people, but apparently they like it for white people. So this is the article. This is from Media, and it says, "Are you a white male who has experienced discrimination? EEOC chair reaches out to DEI-related victims." This is all part of that whole DEI thing that the Trump folks started when they first went into office. But I think you have to watch the actual video that's in the article, and then we can talk.
I'm Andrea Lucas, chair of the U.S. Equal Employment Opportunity Commission. Are you a white male who's experienced discrimination at work based on your race or sex? You may have a claim to recover money under federal civil rights laws. Contact the EEOC as soon as possible. Time limits are typically strict for filing a claim. The EEOC is the federal agency charged with enforcing federal anti-discrimination law against businesses and other private sector employers. The EEOC is committed to identifying, attacking, and eliminating all forms of race and sex discrimination, including against white male applicants and employees. Check out eeoc.gov to learn more and read our one-page explainer about DEI-related discrimination.
Okay. Look, if I wasn't, excuse me, if I wasn't living through this, I wouldn't believe it. So that is the chair of the Equal Employment Opportunity Commission. Her name is Andrea Lucas, and she posted this video on social media. It was just this week to reach out to white males who have experienced discrimination under past or may have experienced discrimination under past administrations' implementation of diversity, equity, and inclusion policies. Now, it's not, they didn't reach out to Black people who are the victims of employment discrimination all the time. They didn't reach out to women who are the victims of employment discrimination all the time. We know that the number one beneficiary of diversity, equity, and inclusion are white women. But somehow Black people are left out of this. This is where this stems from Donald Trump wanting to gain support, or listening at least to his, maybe his own lived experiences or his own beliefs, I should say, or his advisors saying that white men are being discriminated against, or they need to capitalize on this sort of grievance culture and do things like this. Do you remember, this was in the beginning of the administration, and we shouldn't be surprised by this. The beginning of the administration, when there was a helicopter and a plane, remember that midair collision in Washington, D.C., and they tried to blame it on diversity, equity, and inclusion, and there were no people, I don't believe there were any people of color involved with the pilots or any of it. I think the pilots were white men. But anywho, this we should have known, because this is what J.D. Vance came out of the gate. This was in January, not even a month. I think maybe a week or so in office, maybe 2 weeks, if that long. Watch.
If you go back to just some of the headlines over the past 10 years, you have many hundreds of people suing the government because they would like to be air traffic controllers, but they were turned away because of the color of their skin. That policy ends under Donald Trump's leadership because safety is the first priority of our aviation industry.
Yeah. And so people, because of the color of their skin, they're seeing people now. You guys are out there. You tell me if you're in a job and you think that and I'm not saying that white men can't be discriminated against on their job. Of course they can. Anyone can be. But if you look at historically and the actual statistics about who actually is discriminated against, what demographic group is discriminated against the most, who are the people who are discriminated against the most, it's not white men. White men usually have all the jobs, are usually in the leadership positions. They are the captains of industry. They're running companies. They're CEOs. They're the bosses at the restaurant. I go into restaurants all the time and I see, white men who are running the joint. And then you see a whole bunch of, let's just be honest, Latinos working, or Black people working in the jobs, making the food, whether it's the burgers or the fries or the whatever it is. But this comes directly from Donald Trump. This whole idea of DEI. We're in a backwards society. Here he is.
We've ended the tyranny of so-called diversity, equity, and inclusion policies all across the entire federal government and indeed the private sector and our military.
Yeah.
And our country will be woke no longer.
Which means that our country will be a white male. They're looking for a white male society. Let's just call it for what it is. That's what they want.
Smart founders know something most people miss. Get your domain name even if you're not ready to launch your business. With Wix,